Grandpa asked why I arrived in an Uber instead of my birthday SUV. Mom smiled and said my brother needed it more. Everyone went still. Then Grandpa did something none of us expected. The Uber driver's tires crunched over the gravel at exactly 6:47 p.m. on a Friday in November. That sound felt like an announcement I was not ready to make. I sat for a second, looking out the window at Grandpa Silas's house. White columns, neatly trimmed hedges, warm yellow light shining from every window like a perfect holiday photo. This was the kind of home where family dinners happened every Friday, no excuses, no skipping. It was also the kind of place where I used to feel safe until lately. I paid the driver, left a tip in the app, and stepped out. I carried a bottle of wine I had chosen on purpose. Mom mentioned last week that Grandpa was running low on his favorite Malbec, so I bought it. I always did things like that. Small gestures, little signs that I cared. Quiet efforts to smooth over the growing feeling that I was always slightly in the way. I've been the easy child my entire life. The kid who did not argue. The one who understood. The one who adjusted. The one whose needs were flexible, negotiable, and easy to postpone. When we were kids, my older brother Jasper got first choice of everything. He got the front seat because he got carsick in the back, Mom said, even though he never actually got sick. He got the bigger bedroom because he was older and needed more space. He got the nicer Christmas gifts because he was more social and needed better things to keep up his image with friends. When I was 16, I saved for months to buy a used gaming console. I was proud of it because I earned it myself. Mom borrowed it for Jasper's birthday party because his friends wanted to play. She told me I was not using it that weekend anyway, so it was fine. It never came back. She gave it to him. When I asked 3 weeks later, she acted confused and insisted I told her he could have it. I had not, but arguing made me the difficult one, so I swallowed it. When Jasper graduated from college, my family threw a huge party at a country club. They rented a space, invited about 120 people, paid for a live band, and had an open bar. When I graduated 2 years later, I finished with honors, and I even finished in 3 years instead of 4. We went to Applebee's. 7 people. Mom said it was because Jasper overcame more obstacles and his achievement was more meaningful because he struggled more in school. The pattern was always there. I just did not want to see it clearly until the car. The front door was unlocked, as always, because family dinners were relaxed like that. I walked inside, and the smell of roasted chicken wrapped around me immediately. My stomach growled. I skipped lunch because I had been working on a website redesign for a client. The dining room was already full. My mother, Veronica, sat closest to the kitchen. Her auburn hair was pulled into the tight bun she loved, the one that made her look controlled and sharp. My stepdad, Neil, sat beside her, staring at his phone like he always did until food arrived. Jasper sat across from them, relaxed and confident, wearing a button-down that probably cost more than my rent. And at the head of the table sat Grandpa Silas Crane, 74 years old, sitting straight like the owner of the whole world. His white hair was combed back neatly. His blue eyes were still sharp. "There's my boy," Grandpa boomed when he saw me. His face lit up. I smiled. "Hey, Grandpa, I brought you some wine." "You didn't have to do that," he said, but his hand was already reaching for the bottle. He examined the label and nodded with approval. Then his eyes shifted past me toward the front door, toward the driveway, toward the place where my SUV should have been. His forehead wrinkled. "Raven," he asked, his voice puzzled, "why did you arrive in an Uber? What happened to the SUV we bought you for your 24th birthday?" The room went quiet, like the air had been pulled out. My face warmed. He crawled up my neck. My stomach dropped. I opened my mouth, but no words came out right away. Before I could answer, my mother's voice cut through the silence. "Calm, smooth, practiced." "Oh, Dad," Veronica said lightly, making a dismissive wave with her hand. Jasper needed it more. The words hit like stones. Grandpa did not react right away. He sat there processing what she said. Jasper did not look surprised or guilty. He just took a sip of wine and kept his eyes down like this was normal, like this was how life worked. I stared at my mother. My mind felt slow for a second, like it was trying to catch up. Veronica kept smiling, as if she was explaining something simple and reasonable. Jasper's car died last week. Complete transmission failure. He has client meetings. Real responsibilities. You work from home doing websites. You don't need an SUV sitting in your parking lot and used. Grandpa's mouth opened slightly. Neil's eyes moved from face to face, like he was watching a tennis match. My cousin Maya, sitting at the far end of the table, froze with food still in her mouth. That SUV was a 2024 Toyota Highlander in gunmetal gray. Grandpa handed me the keys himself 8 months ago on my birthday. He said he wanted me safe and independent. It was the first gift that felt truly mine, not a family gift, not something shared, not something that could be grabbed and reassigned. Mine. And Mom just spoke about it like it was a spare chair in the living room. I never agreed to that, I said quietly. My voice came out thin. Veronica's smile tightened, like I was being annoying. "Raven, it's family. We share. That's what families do. Jasper needs it more urgently than you do. It's not personal." Grandpa's hands, resting on the white tablecloth, went very still. His eyes stayed on my mother, and something changed in his expression. It looked like a door closing, like a decision forming in real time. He pushed his chair back. The scrape of wood on hardwood sounded loud in the silence. Then Grandpa stood up slowly and said, "Veronica, bring me the keys to Raven's SUV. Right now." My mother's smile stayed on her face too long. Like she thought Grandpa was joking and she just did not get it yet. Then she saw his face. He was not smiling. Not even a little. His expression looked carved from stone. Dad, she said, lowering her voice into the tone she used when she wanted to sound reasonable. You're making this awkward. It's already handled. Jasper has the car. It's fine. Grandpa did not raise his voice. That was somehow worse. I'm not the one who took something that wasn't hers without asking, he said. He turned to Jasper. Do you have the car here tonight? Jasper's cheeks went red. Grandpa, it's temporary. I needed it. Raven doesn't drive every day. He works from home. It makes more sense for me to have it until my car's fixed. Hearing my name used like a bargaining chip made my stomach twist. Like my needs are numbers on a spreadsheet. So you do have it, Grandpa said flatly. At my apartment, Jasper admitted. I drove it today. Veronica stood up fast, her chair scraping backward. Dad, be reasonable. Jasper has clients and meetings. You want your grandson to lose his job because he doesn't have reliable transportation? Grandpa's eyes sharpened. Then you find a solution that does not involve stealing from your other son. He turned to Neil. Did you know about this? Neil cleared his throat. He looked uncomfortable for the first time. Veronica said it was fine. She said she talked to Raven about it. She said Raven wouldn't mind sharing since he doesn't use the car much. I did mind, I said louder than I meant to. My voice cracked. You didn't even ask. You took my keys while I was sleeping and gave them to Jasper. I woke up and my car was gone. I had to take an Uber to a client meeting. Veronica's nostrils flared. We didn't take it, Raven. It's staying in the family. Stop being dramatic. This is exactly why you need to grow up. You don't understand how the real world works. The real world where people steal from their children. I shot back before I could stop myself. Grandpa reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. He moved slowly and calmly, which made the moment even heavier. Everyone watched him. He tapped the screen a few times, then placed the call on speaker. A professional woman's voice answered. Silas Crane. Petra speaking. Petra, it's 7:30 p.m. on a Friday, the woman added. This must be important. This is Silas, Grandpa said, his voice formal. Petra, I need you to do two things tonight. First, report my 2024 Toyota Highlander, gray, license plate 7XRT449, as unauthorized use. The vehicle was taken without the intended recipient's permission. Second, email my estate attorney, Gerald Vaughn, and schedule an emergency meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. My mother's face lost color, so quickly it looked unreal. Dad, what are you doing? She whispered. I'm doing what I should have done the moment I realized you confuse family with entitlement, Grandpa said. Jasper sat up straighter. His wine glass froze halfway to his mouth. Grandpa, unauthorized use, that is accusing me of. That's what it is, Grandpa cut in, his voice cold. He looked around the table like he wanted everyone to hear every word. I purchased that vehicle as a birthday gift for Raven. The title is still in my name because I wanted to cover the insurance for the first year. I told Raven I would transfer the title at the end of the year, after he had time to get comfortable with it. But it was bought for him, given to him. And you, he looked at Veronica, used that detail like a loophole. You took his keys, handed them to Jasper, and expected me to smile because you wrapped in words like sharing and needed. Veronica's mouth opened and closed, but nothing came out. Neil looked like he had been punched. Petra's voice came through the speaker again. Mr. Crane, would you like me to contact the local police department about the unauthorized use? Grandpa did not hesitate. Yes. You're calling the police on your own daughter, Veronica shouted, her voice rising. On your grandson? Grandpa leaned forward, both hands flat on the table. No, Veronica. I'm calling them on thieves. Family or not, theft is theft. That word hit the room like a slap. Jasper's eyes went wide. Maya dropped her fork. Neil's face turned red. Jasper's voice shook. This is insane. It's a car. We're family. You can't seriously. Exactly, Grandpa interrupted. We are family. And family does not take what is not theirs, then shame the person who is wrong for being upset. Veronica stood, her chair screeching backward. Dad, stop this. Think about what you're doing. Raven will be embarrassed. This will cause problems. I almost laughed. I had been taking Ubers for a week, watching my bank account shrink, trying to find a way to ask for my own car without starting a fight. She was worried about embarrassment now. Grandpa pointed toward the foyer. Raven arrived in an Uber tonight because you stripped his independence without even having the basic decency to ask. You did not discuss it. You did not negotiate. You just took. The embarrassment belongs exactly where the behavior belongs, with the people who did the taking. Petra spoke again. Mr. Crane, I'm making the call now. Officers should arrive within 20 minutes. Thank you, Petra, Grandpa said, and ended the call. Veronica's voice cracked. Dad, please. Think about the family. Thanksgiving is in 2 weeks. You're gonna ruin everything over a car. I'm not ruining anything, Grandpa said quietly. You already did that the moment you decided Raven's property was communal just because he is the younger one, the quiet one, the one who does not make waves. Something in his tone made my chest tighten. He saw it. The pattern I told myself I was imagining. Neil stood up, lifting his hands like he wanted to calm everyone down. Silas, maybe we can work this out privately. Jasper can return the car tonight. We don't need police. Grandpa's eyes stayed steady. If it was family business, you would have handled it like family. You have asked Raven. You would have helped Jasper rent a car. You would have done anything except steal. But you did not. So now it is legal business. 17 minutes later, headlights swept across the windows. Red and blue lights flashed against Grandpa's white columns. A police cruiser rolled into the circular driveway. Grandpa walked to the door calmly, like he was greeting guests. He opened it before the officers could knock. 2 officers stood there. The older one looked about 50. His nameplate said Sergeant Mitchell. His face had the tired calm of someone who had seen everything. The younger one looked late 20s. Her nameplate said Officer Park. She held a notebook. "Good evening," Grandpa said. "Thank you for coming. I'm Silas Crane. I called about unauthorized vehicle use." Sergeant Mitchell nodded. "Mr. Crane, can you explain the situation?" Grandpa stepped aside and invited them in. They entered the foyer and paused, taking in the frozen dinner scene and the tension thick in the air. 8 months ago, Grandpa said clearly, "I purchased a 2024 Toyota Highlander as a birthday gift for my grandson, Raven. The vehicle was intended solely for him. The title is in my name for insurance reasons, but it was explicitly given to him. 1 week ago, my daughter Veronica and my other grandson Jasper took the vehicle without Raven's knowledge or consent and have been using it since. Raven had to take an Uber here tonight because his car is in Jasper's possession." Veronica stepped forward, her voice shaking. "Officers, this is a misunderstanding. It's a family vehicle. We're sharing it. My father is overreacting to a simple arrangement." Officer Park kept her voice gentle but firm. "Ma'am, who currently has the vehicle?" Jasper stood slowly. "It's in my apartment, but I'm family. Grandpa bought it. It's not like I stole a stranger's car." Sergeant Mitchell answered in a calm, professional tone. "If the vehicle was gifted to a specific person, taking it without permission can count as unauthorized use, even if the title is still in Mr. Crane's name." "Who has the keys?" Jasper pulled the keys from his pocket and held them up. "I have them. Mom gave them to me. She took them from Raven's apartment." Officer Park wrote quickly. Sergeant Mitchell looked at Grandpa. "Mr. Crane, do you have documentation that shows the vehicle was a gift specifically for Raven?" "Yes," Grandpa said. He pulled out his phone and tapped through photos. "This is from Raven's birthday dinner 8 months ago. You can see me handing him the keys. The card in the photo says, 'For your independence and safety. Love, Grandpa.' I also have the purchase receipt, the insurance policy listing Raven as the primary driver, and a draft title transfer document prepared for December 31st. Sergeant Mitchell studied the phone and nodded. "That shows clear intent." Then he asked, "Mr. Crane, what outcome are you seeking tonight?" "I want the vehicle returned to Raven immediately," Grandpa said. "And I want both sets of keys, the main key and the spare." Jasper's voice cracked. "I needed it. My transmission failed. I can't afford repairs right now." "Then you asked for help," Grandpa said, turning to face him. "You do not take. There's a difference." Officer Park looked at Jasper. "Sir, where's the vehicle located?" Jasper swallowed. "Riverside Complex on Morrison Street, Unit 3B. Sergeant Mitchell nodded. "You'll need to return it tonight." Then he asked Grandpa, "Do you want to press charges?" The room held its breath. Grandpa turned and looked at me. He did not speak, but his look asked a question. Then he said out loud, "Raven, it's your car. Your decision." Everyone stared at me. Veronica's eyes looked pleading. Jasper looked terrified. Neil looked resigned. Maya was texting fast, probably updating the rest of the family. I thought about the old pattern. Jasper always first. Jasper always urgent. Me always expected to bend. Me always expected to be easy. "I don't want to press charges," I said finally. "I just want my car back tonight with both keys. And I want my mother to understand she cannot just take my things." Veronica's shoulders dropped with relief. "Thank you, Raven. See, we can work this out." I lifted my chin. "I'm not done." The room went quiet again. "I also want it clear this will not happen again. Not with my car, not with anything else. I'm not a kid. My things are mine. If you need something, you ask. You do not take." Sergeant Mitchell nodded. "Understood." Then he looked at Jasper. "Mr. Jasper Crane, you need to return the vehicle to this address within the next 2 hours. Both sets of keys. If it is not returned, we will file a report and Mr. Silas Crane can pursue charges. Do you understand?" Jasper nodded, silent. Officer Park looked at Veronica. "Ma'am, taking someone's property without permission, even within family, can lead to criminal charges. The law does not change based on relationship." Veronica's face was red, tight with humiliation, anger, and something else. But she nodded. The officers left. Grandpa closed the door. The dining room stayed silent. The food cooled. The air felt heavy. Veronica turned on me. "Are you happy now? You made your grandfather call the police on his own family. You humiliated us over a car." "I did not do this," I said, my voice steady though my hand shook. "You did. Grandpa just refused to pretend it was normal. You could have just shared," she snapped. "I would have," I said louder, "if you asked. If you told me Jasper needed help. If you treated me like an adult with a choice. But you did not ask. You took my keys while I was sleeping. You gave them to Jasper. You made me look foolish when my client asked why I needed a ride. You did not even tell me until I noticed my car was missing." Neil spoke softly. "Veronica, he's right. You should have asked." Veronica spun toward him. "Don't you start." Neil's voice grew firmer. "I agreed, because you said Raven knew about it. You lied to me too." Grandpa walked back to the table. But instead of sitting at the head again, he pulled a chair next to me and sat there. "Raven," he said quietly, "I'm sorry you felt alone in this family. I should have noticed sooner." My throat tightened. "You notice now. That matters." He placed his hand over mine. "Your grandmother would be ashamed. She hated favoritism. She hated when people took advantage of the quiet ones. Jasper stood up. I should go get the car. Yes, Grandpa said. You should. Then Grandpa added, Jasper, tomorrow morning you and I will talk about what help looks like when it does not harm someone else. Jasper left without meeting my eyes. Maya stood too. I should go. This got intense. After she left, only 5 of us remained. Me, Grandpa, Veronica, Neil, and Jasper's empty chair. The table was full of food, no one touched. Grandpa spoke again. Tomorrow we need a real family meeting. A serious one. We need to talk about patterns. About respect. About how this family operates. Tonight should never have been necessary. Veronica started to argue. Dad, tomorrow. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., Grandpa said firmly. My house. You, Neil, Jasper, and Raven. Veronica crossed her arms. And if I don't want to come? Grandpa stood. Then you don't. But you should know I have a meeting with my estate attorney tomorrow morning. I am reviewing my will. I am reviewing my trusts. I will make sure the people who benefit from my estate are the people who respect boundaries and treat others with basic decency. Veronica's face went pale. You're threatening to cut me out. I'm not threatening, Grandpa said. I'm informing you. If you think taking from Raven is acceptable, then you need to understand there are consequences. Maybe not from Raven, because he's too kind to fight back. But for me, I do not tolerate theft. I do not tolerate manipulation. I do not tolerate treating one grandchild like his needs matter less than another's. He looked at me. Raven, you're welcome to stay here tonight. The guest room is ready. Or I can drive you home when your car arrives. I'll wait for my car, I said quietly. Good, Grandpa said, and gave me a small smile. I'll keep you company. Veronica and Neil left about 20 minutes later. Their exit was stiff and silent. The dinner sat cold. Grandpa began putting food into containers like he was cleaning up after a storm. I'm sorry, I said. I didn't mean to ruin dinner. You didn't ruin anything, Grandpa said. Your mother did. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. How long has this been going on? He asked, his tone gentle. I thought about it, truly thought about it. My whole life, I guess. Jasper gets first choice. Jasper gets help immediately. I'm supposed to be understanding. Flexible. Easy. That stops now, Grandpa said. He loaded dishes into the dishwasher with sharp, purposeful movements. Your grandmother always said the quiet ones get overlooked. She made me promise to watch out for that. I failed, but I'm fixing it. What are you going to do? I asked. Grandpa turned to face me. Tomorrow morning, I meet Gerald Vaughn. We will revise my will. Right now, everything is split equally between your mother and your Uncle David. That is changing. Grandpa, you don't have to do that, I said quickly. I want to, he said. Not only because I'm angry, though I am. I'm also clear now. Your mother sees assets, not people. She sees resources to be moved around, not relationships to be cared for. Until she learns the difference, she should not benefit from my estate as if nothing is wrong. What about Jasper? I asked. Jasper made a choice, Grandpa said. He took something that wasn't his and justified it by saying he needed it more. He is 28 years old enough to know better. At 9:47 p.m., headlights swept across the windows again. This time there were no police lights. Just the gray Toyota Highlander turning into the driveway. My heart jumped. My hands shook. Grandpa rested a hand on my shoulder. Do you want me to come with you? He asked. No, I said. I got this. I walked outside. The air was cold. Jasper stepped out of the driver's seat. He looked worn down and smaller than he usually did. Here, he said, holding out both sets of keys. Main key and spare. Tank is full. I was going to fill it anyway. I took the keys. They felt heavy in my palm like proof. I'm sorry, Jasper said quietly. I didn't think. I just needed transportation. Mom said it was fine, and I didn't question it. You should have questioned it, I said. It was my car. You should have asked. I know, he said. He stared at the ground. I've been thinking all night about how many times I've just taken things. Assumed you'd be fine. Mom always said you didn't mind. I minded, I said. I just didn't know how to fight back without being the bad guy. Jasper finally looked up. You're not the bad guy. I am. And I'm sorry, really sorry. I wanted to stay angry. I wanted to make him feel worse. But I saw something real in his face. Shame. Not performance. Real shame. Don't do it again, I said. Not with my stuff. Not with anyone's stuff. If you need help, ask. Don't take. I won't, Jasper said. Then he added, Raven, I'm paying for the Ubers. All of them. Send me the receipts. You don't have to, I said. I do, he said. I cost you money. I embarrassed you. I owe you more than gas money, but it's a start. He walked toward a Honda Civic parked nearby, probably borrowed or rented. I got into my Highlander. My car. I started the engine and felt the familiar rumble. Grandpa stood in the doorway watching. He lifted a hand in a small wave. I waved back and drove home feeling lighter than I had in weeks, maybe years. The next morning at 10:47 a.m., my phone rang. Grandpa's voice came through. Meeting with Gerald is done. The new will is drafted and it's a doozy. What did you do? I asked, nervous. Gerald Vaughn has been my estate attorney for 32 years, Grandpa said. He helped build my entire plan. He thinks I'm being harsh. I think I'm being clear. Harsh how? I asked. I'm splitting my estate into 3 parts now, instead of 2, Grandpa said. 1/3 to your Uncle David. He's never had issues with boundaries. 1/3 directly to you, in a trust that gives you full control when you turn 30. And 1/3 to your mother, in a restricted trust with conditions. What conditions? I asked. Grandpa's voice stayed steady. She gets income from the trust, enough to live comfortably. But she cannot touch the principal. She cannot liquidate assets. She cannot redirect funds. Then he paused and said the part that made my stomach drop. And if she ever takes something from you again without permission, anything at all, the entire trust collapses. All remaining principal goes directly to you. Grandpa, I said, my voice shaky. That's extreme. It's fair, Grandpa said, cutting in gently. Gerald added what he calls an anti-abuse clause. He uses it when someone has a pattern of crossing boundaries. It protects a vulnerable beneficiary from being exploited. In this case, you are the vulnerable one. Not because you're weak, because you're too kind. You don't fight back. So I'm fighting back for you. What did the attorney say? I asked. Gerald asked if I was sure, Grandpa said. He said it was aggressive and could fracture the family. I told him the family was already fractured. I was just acknowledging reality. He drafted it. It was witnessed and signed properly. It's legal and solid. When does Mom find out? I asked. Family meeting at 1 p.m., Grandpa said. She knows there's a meeting, not why. I want everyone there. You, your mother, Neil, Jasper. It's time for an honest talk about patterns. My stomach rolled. This is going to explode. It already exploded, Grandpa said. Last night, when I had to call the police because your mother stole from you. Now we deal with what comes after. You coming? He asked. I picture Mom's face. I pictured conflict. I pictured years of silence breaking. Yeah, I said. I'll be there. The family meeting felt tense the moment I walked in at 12:57 p.m. Mom sat stiffly on Grandpa's leather couch. Neil sat beside her, looking like he wanted to disappear. Jasper arrived 2 minutes after me, eyes red like he had been crying. Grandpa sat in his armchair by the fireplace. A folder rested in his lap, official papers visible. Thank you for coming, Grandpa said in a formal tone. We need to talk about last night. More importantly, we need to talk about patterns. Mom's mouth tightened. Dad, if this is about the car, I already apologized. You didn't, I said quietly. Mom snapped her head toward me. I did. You said sorry for the misunderstanding, I replied. That's not the same as apologizing for what you did. Mom's eyes flashed. I'm sorry you felt hurt by a practical arrangement. Grandpa lifted a hand. See, that is the problem. You're apologizing for Raven's feelings, not your actions. Let me be clear. You entered Raven's apartment with a spare key. You took his car keys without his knowledge or permission. You gave them to Jasper. When Raven discovered his car was missing, you did not apologize. You told him to take an Uber because his needs were less important than Jasper's. Jasper's car was broken, Mom said fast. What was I supposed to do? Let him miss work. Help him rent a car, Grandpa said. Loan him your car. Drive him. Ask me for help. Ask Raven. Literally any solution that does not involve taking from Raven. Then Grandpa leaned forward. But you didn't even consider those options because in your mind, Raven's property is not really his. It's family resources that you can reassign. Mom's cheeks flushed. That's not true. I don't think that way. Grandpa opened the folder. Let me show you something. He pulled out a sheet of paper. I asked Raven to write down times his belongings or boundaries were violated. Times he was treated as less important than Jasper. He sent me a list this morning. Do you know how long it is? Mom started to speak. Dad, 23 incidents, Grandpa said, starting at age 8. The gaming console borrowed and never returned. The graduation party difference. The laptop taken from Raven's place and given to Jasper. The vacation room reassigned to Jasper's girlfriend because she needed the view. 23 times Raven's needs were treated as negotiable, while Jasper's were treated as urgent. Jasper's voice was quiet. I didn't know about all of those. That's because Raven didn't complain, Grandpa said. He stayed quiet. He was the easy one. And you, he looked at Mom, took advantage of that until last night when I finally saw it clearly. Mom's hand shook. I never meant to hurt him. I was trying to help Jasper. At Raven's expense, Grandpa said. Every time. Then Grandpa's voice became even firmer. And here is what changes. I met Gerald Vaughn this morning. I revised my will. The room went silent. I'm not cutting you out, Veronica, Grandpa said. But I am protecting Raven. Your inheritance will be placed in a restricted trust. You will have income, but you will not have access to the principal. You will not be able to redirect funds. And if you ever take something from Raven again, without permission, anything at all, the trust collapses and everything remaining goes directly to Raven. Mom looked shocked, like the floor had dropped out from under her. You're punishing me, she said. I'm protecting your son from you, Grandpa corrected. Because clearly you won't do it yourself. Mom stood up, voice rising. This is insane. You're destroying this family over a car. No, I said, finding my voice. You destroyed trust. Grandpa is responding to what you did. Mom spun toward me. So you're happy now? You got Grandpa to threaten my inheritance? All because you couldn't share a car for a few weeks? It wasn't a few weeks, I said. It was indefinite. You never planned to give it back. Jasper was driving it like it belonged to him. You told people it was the family car now. Mom's mouth opened and closed. I heard you, I added. You were on speaker in Grandpa's driveway 2 days ago. I heard you tell Aunt Rachel that I didn't need a car because I work from home. You said Jasper's career mattered more. You call me precious about ownership. Grandpa stood. Veronica, I will say this once. Raven is your son, not your resource problem, not your backup plan, not spare parts for Jasper's life. He's your son. Treat him like it or accept the consequences. Neil spoke, voice firm. Veronica, he's right. I've watched this for 2 years. You treat the boys differently. I try to bring it up. You always have reasons, but they're excuses. You favor Jasper. Mom turned toward him, furious. Don't you dare. Nil did not back down. Last night you lied to me. You told me Raven agreed. He didn't. You lied so I would go along. That made me part of taking his property. I'm not okay with that. Jasper stood up suddenly. This is my fault too. I took the car. I used it. I knew Raven didn't agree. He just didn't fight back. He never fights back. And I've taken advantage of that my whole life. He looked at me, voice breaking. I'm sorry, Raven. For the car, and for everything. For every time I got first choice and didn't question it. For every time you were overlooked. I let it happen because it helped me. You're my little brother. I was supposed to protect you. Instead, I've been taking from you for 24 years. The room went quiet except for Mom's crying. Grandpa sat back down and spoke with calm authority. Here's what happens now. The will is changed. The trust is set. The consequences are clear. Veronica, you have a choice. You can accept that your favoritism hurt Raven and work to change, or you can keep doing what you've been doing and accept the financial consequences. Either way, the taking stops today. Then Grandpa looked at me. Raven, you have full permission to say no, to protect your boundaries, to stand up for yourself. You do not have to be easy anymore. Your needs matter exactly as much as anyone else's. My throat tightened. Thank you, I said. Mom looked up, mascara streaked. I love you, Raven. I do. I never meant to hurt you. But you did, I said quietly. Over and over. And you never noticed because I didn't complain loud enough. That's on both of us. And for the first time in my life, I felt something shift. Like the old rules were breaking. Like the quiet child who always adjusted was finally allowed to stand still and take up space.